They told me the forest was silent. They were lying. The forest screams. My name is Alexandros. I came here to kill a monster. I came to claim the head of Medusa. But now, standing in this clearing, I realize that the legends left out the most terrifying part. The statues. There are hundreds of them. Warriors from every century, every nation. Their faces are frozen in a scream of eternal terror. But they aren't just stone. I can feel them watching me. What is your choice, little hero? The voice didn't come from the trees. It slithered into my ear. I turned around, and there she was, Medusa. She wasn't just a woman with snakes for hair. She was terrifyingly beautiful. Her eyes were glowing gold, with vertical slits for pupils. The serpents on her head hissed in unison, tasting the air around my neck. "Give me an heir," she whispered, stepping closer.
Come closer.
"Give me a child of power, and I will let you live. Refuse, and you become part of my collection." I gripped the hidden vial beneath my tunic, the blood of Pegasus. The oracle, Tiresias, had given it to me. He said it was my immunity, my only weapon. "Is it true?" I asked, my voice shaking. "Are these your lovers? Men you used and discarded?" Medusa laughed. It was a cold, sharp sound, like cracking ice. She walked over to a statue of a Roman centurion and stroked his stone cheek. "Lovers? No," she said. "They are bricks in a wall." She dug her sharp nails into the stone shoulder of the statue. To my horror, the stone didn't chip. It bled. A thick gray ichor oozed from the wound. "Stone is permanent, Alexandros," she said, her eyes flashing with mix of cruelty and sadness. "Stone doesn't age. Stone doesn't die. These men serve a purpose greater than they ever did in life." Suddenly, the ground beneath us lurched. A violent tremor shook the forest. Trees groaned, and several statues cracked. The smell of sulfur and rotting meat exploded from the cracks in the earth. Medusa's arrogance vanished. For the first time, I saw fear in her eyes. The snakes on her head coiled back defensively. "They are waking up," she whispered. "Who?" I demanded. "The Titans," she hissed, looking at the ground. "Every time a hero enters my forest, the seals weaken. You think the gods cursed me because they hated me? No, they made me a guardian." She looked at me, desperate now. "I don't need a child for revenge. I need an heir to hold the door shut when I am gone." Another tremor hit, stronger this time. A massive, ancient statue near the edge of the clearing, one covered in moss, began to split open. But it didn't break like rock. It tore open like skin. Something was pushing its way out from the inside. "The seal is broken!" Medusa screamed. From the shattered remains of the statue, a figure stumbled out. It wasn't a titan. It looked like a young man. He was naked, covered in slime and stone dust. He looked human, except for one thing. His eyes, they were exactly like Medusa's, golden, vertical, predatory. He looked at Medusa and smiled, a smile that had too many teeth. "Mother," the boy said. His voice sounded like grinding stones. "You kept me sleeping for a very long time. Medusa stepped back, terrified. "Ophion, you should be dead!" The boy, Ophion, turned his golden gaze toward me. He didn't look like a victim. He looked like a hunter who had just been let out of a cage. "The dawn is coming, Alexandros," Ophion said to me, "and the things beneath this forest are hungry." Trust is a dangerous thing in a forest of liars. Medusa vanished into a green mist, leaving me alone with the monster she called her son. I didn't wait to find out if Ophion was hungry. I ran. I found refuge in a hollow beneath the twisted roots of an ancient olive tree. My chest was burning. The vial of Pegasus blood hidden in my tunic was pulsing, matching the rhythm of my own heart. It wanted to be let out. You can't hide from someone who can smell your fear, Alexandros. I spun around, my rusty blade raised. Ophion stepped out of the shadows. In the moonlight, I saw what he really was. He wasn't human. Scales shimmered on his neck like wet emeralds. His jaw unhinged slightly when he spoke, revealing a forked tongue. "Why run?" Ophion asked, stepping closer. "We are the same, both victims of her collection." "I am not stone," I growled. "Aren't you?" He pointed a clawed finger towards the clearing. "Do you know what the statues are? They aren't trophies. They are batteries." He touched the bark of the tree, and the wood hissed. "Every soul she petrifies feeds the seals below. She locks them in stone, conscious, screaming in the dark for eternity, just to keep the titans asleep. I was trapped in one for 1,000 years. I heard every scream." He reached into his rags and pulled out a dagger. It didn't look like steel. It looked like liquid mercury, constantly shifting and rippling in his hand. He tossed it at my feet. "Kill the jailer," Ophion hissed. "Kill Medusa. Break the seal. Set us all free." Before I could answer, he dissolved into the shadows like ink in water. I picked up the dagger. It was cold, unnatural. Suddenly, the ground screamed. A crack tore open just inches from my feet, glowing with a sickly, radioactive green light. The smell of burning sulfur choked me. "Do not listen to the snake, boy." I looked up. Tyserius, the blind oracle, was standing there. His eyes were milky white, dead, yet he looked straight at me. "He gave you the weapon, didn't he?" Tyserius pointed his staff at the dagger in my hand. "Come, you need to see what you are about to unleash." We walked to the center of the forest. The heat was unbearable. There, in a clearing where nothing grew, was a hole. It was a pit of absolute darkness, a throat leading straight to hell. "The well of the primordials," Tyserius whispered. "The titans are just the soldiers. What lies down there has no name." A roar echoed from the deep, a sound so loud it vibrated in my teeth. It sounded like a mountain breaking apart. "Ophion isn't trying to save the world," the oracle warned, gripping my arm with skeletal fingers. "He is one of them. If you use that dagger to kill Medusa, you don't just break the curse, you open the door." "Then what do I do?" I yelled over the roar of the earthquake. "Medusa wants to use me. Ophion wants to use me. You want to use me." "You have a choice," Tyserius said. "Drink the blood of Pegasus. It will turn you into something new, something strong enough to fight them all." The ground beneath us shattered. Medusa exploded from the tree line. Her face twisted in fury, snakes striking at the air. Ophion materialized on the other side, his human disguise ripping apart, revealing a massive black-scaled monstrosity underneath. And the pit began to overflow with black slime. The dawn was coming, but I knew none of us would live to see the sun. I uncorked the vial of Pegasus blood. The silver liquid swirled like a galaxy in my hand. "Time to choose," I whispered, and I drank it all. They say nectar is the drink of the gods, but the blood of Pegasus, that is the drink of the damned. It didn't taste like power, it tasted like molten silver. I fell to my knees screaming as my veins turned a glowing fluorescent blue. My skin felt like it was splitting open, my vision fractured. I didn't just see the forest anymore. I saw the heat signatures, the beating hearts, the flow of magic. Medusa hissed, shielding her eyes. "What have you done, fool?" Ophion roared, a sound of pure metallic grinding, and lunged at me, but I was faster. I didn't move like a human, I moved like light. I caught his clawed hand in mid-air. I felt his bones crunch under my grip. "You are not the only monster here anymore," I growled. My voice echoed with a metallic reverb. I threw him back. Ophion crashed into a statue, shattering it. But he didn't bleed red, he bled black sludge. "Enough games," Ophion shrieked. His body exploded outward. The human disguise melted away in a shower of gore. What stood there was a nightmare, a towering mass of black tentacles, oily scales, and a face with no mouth, only 3 vertical golden eyes. He didn't attack me. He turned and dove straight into the well of the primordials. "No!" Tyserius screamed. "He is waking them up!" The ground shattered. A beam of sickly green energy shot up from the pit, piercing the night sky. The forest began to dissolve. The gravity shifted. Stones started floating into the air. Medusa looked at me. The arrogance was gone. She looked tired. "The seal is broken," she said. "The only way to close it is a sacrifice. Blood of the Gorgon, blood of the hero." She held out the mercury dagger. "We have to go down there." I looked at the pit. It was a swirling vortex of souls and darkness. "We won't come back," I said. "Then we die well," she replied. We grabbed the dagger together, my hand over hers. Her skin was cold scales, mine was burning silver. We jumped. We fell into the abyss. The heat was unbearable. Tentacles of shadow whipped at us, trying to tear us apart. At the bottom, I saw him, Ophion, latching onto a massive beating heart made of magma. "You cannot stop the inevitable," Ophion's voice boomed in my head. "Watch me," I roared. We drove the dagger into the magma heart. A blinding white light swallowed the world. I woke up in a field of dead grass. Silence. Absolute heavy silence. I sat up. My body ached. I looked down at my chest. There was no heart beating there. Instead, there was a scar. A swirling silver and green scar that pulsed with a sick, rhythmic light. I could hear whispers coming from it. The titans weren't dead. They were inside me. I was the cage. "You survived." I looked up. Medusa was sitting on a rock nearby. She looked different. The snakes were gone. Her hair was black, long and matted with dirt. Her eyes were green. She looked human. "Are you free?" I asked, my voice raspy. She looked at her hands, then at me. A sad, predatory smile crossed her lips. "The curse is gone," she whispered, "but the monster remains." She walked over to me and placed a hand on the glowing scar on my chest. Her touch burned. "You hold the primordials now, Alexandros," she said softly. "You are a walking bomb. If you die, the world ends." I stood up. I felt the power and the darkness coiling in my veins. The Persian army was marching in the distance, their torches flickering like fireflies. "Let 'em come," I said. My eyes flashed, not human, but a glowing vertical gold. Medusa stood beside me. She didn't look like a victim anymore. She looked like a queen who had found her king. "Yes," she said, "let 'em come."